welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing well. For today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how I do my base. Now, you guys have been loving my base of late and a lot of you have been asking for tutorial, and that's exactly what we're going to do today. I'm going to get you up close and personal so you can see every little thing. Now, before beginning this video, I do have to say a couple of things, so please hear me through. Now, makeup will look like makeup. That's what it is. No matter what foundation you use, what brushes you use, what techniques you use. Unless you're using Photoshop or filters, your makeup will look like makeup on your skin, especially if someone's up close and personal to you, which you shouldn't be right now because social distancing 101. But just saying that it will look like makeup looks much more perfect from afar than it does from really close up. Also, I do not take any makeup down my neck because my neck is super sensitive. I only use very simple skincare like moisturizers and oils on my neck. Otherwise, I get rashes, which is so not worth it. So that's why I do not take it down my neck. But if you have pigmentation or if you have uneven patches on your neck, feel free to apply foundation over there as well. So yeah, that's all I had to say. Without any further ado, if you want to know how I get my base poppin' and lockin', then keep on watching. We are as up close and personal as we can be because I really want you to see all of my pores, my blackheads, my texture, because I want you to know that whatever seems perfect from afar might not be as close to perfect or your idea of perfection when you're looking at things up close and personal. The first step of my routine has to be a facial oil, and I'm going to be using Indulgeo's rose gold oil because I love this stuff. I've talked about this multiple times. I love how beautifully it sits on my skin and how it makes my makeup look so beautiful, and especially because I'm going to be using matte products later on, and oil underneath just really balances everything and makes you look so beautiful. Now, if you have oily skin, feel free to use a lesser amount. I have really dry skin, so I'm going to use a whole pump of that oil because it keeps my skin a little sane and just healthier looking. I'm going to warm this up between my hands first so that everything is nice and warm and gets absorbed into the skin really quickly, and then I'm just going to pat it into my skin. You can at this point give your skin a little massage because you deserve it, but I'm just going to be patting it into my skin, and I'm also going to take it down my neck. Now, what is important here is that you give your skin some time to absorb all of that oil in. If you go on top with makeup just like this directly, it will slip and slide away and nothing will stay. So give your skin a couple of minutes to let it drink up all of this oil and nourishment and moisturization so that when you go on top with makeup, you don't have like a fresh layer of oil underneath. Once your skin has absorbed the oil, you can go in with foundation. I'm going to be using the Maybelline Superstay foundation. I really like this foundation. I've been using it for a while. As you can see, it's quite used and well loved. Now, this is a matte foundation, a full coverage matte foundation, but it doesn't look heavy on the skin. I'm going to be using 1.5 pumps of this, so that is approximately 1.5 pumps. I'm just dotting this all over my face so that we have an even distribution of the product. And then comes in my secret tool. I have my brush, which is the NYX 03 brush. It's a buffer brush, and this is by far the most beautiful foundation brush I have ever used. Ever. It's such a nice brush. It just blends in your foundation like a dream. So I'm just gonna go in stippling sort of motion, so where I'm not dragging the product like this, or we are not going like this, but we're just gonna be dabbing it on our skin with a slight tuck tuck tuck. So it's not this. We're not pushing the foundation like this, we are not dragging it like this, but we're just flicking our brush like this in shorter strokes. So I'm just flicking my foundation like that, and I'm making sure that it's nice and blended in. And because we have that oil underneath, it really helps in making the product a little bit more fluid. I've been loving the combination of Indulgeo oil and this Maybelline foundation, I think for over a year now. Ever since I started using this foundation, I have used it with the Indulgeo oil, and it's just such a beautiful combo, you guys. I cannot. As you can see, the foundation pretty much covers up everything. What you want to keep in mind is then when you're going near your hairline, all of that is nicely covered up and there is no stark line of demarcation of where your actual skin starts and where the foundation starts. So make sure you go really nicely around your hairline and make gentle flicking motions over there so that all of the area is covered up. And when you're going around your jawline, make sure to drag it down a little bit, so again there is no clear demarcation of where the foundation ends and the skin starts. So just make sure that you're blending everything nicely. Blending is the key. Now, it is a pretty full coverage foundation, so it would have covered up almost everything that you want to cover up. But if there's still some areas that you feel like need a little bit more help, for me it's going to be right here because I have been having a couple of breakouts here and they have been scarring really badly. So I'm just going to dot a little bit of foundation over there as well and let it dry for about 10 seconds. I'm also going to apply a little bit on the corners of my nose because I feel like I could get rid of that redness. And once your 10 seconds are up, you just want to stipple this into place. Now this time I'm stippling, so I'm using direct stamping motions like this. I'm not flicking it. So I'm just using stamping motions just to make sure that the foundation stays in place, that it doesn't move, because I want more coverage over there. So I'm just stippling this product in. As you can see, this brush is literally magic. Honestly, every penny spent on it is so worth it, and I don't even think it's that expensive because this is like a one-time investment. Brushes last forever. So I would highly suggest you to get this brush if you are looking for a nice foundation brush. Moving on to concealer, I'm going to be using an oldie but a goodie. I have the MAC Pro Long Wear Concealer with me. Now this is pretty matte as well and is slightly on the drying side, and that's why the oil underneath just works so beautifully. I've been using this off lately, and a lot of you have been asking me what I've been using on my under eyes because they look just blurred and airbrushed in perfection, and this is what I've been using. Now I stopped using this because it was slightly too dry for my skin, but ever since I've introduced facial oils in my makeup routine, I've seen that I can use this. It doesn't dry my under eyes so much, but it makes them look so good. Now I'm in the shade NC30 and I use it with, again, a secret brush that I have. Not secret, but you know, my magical ingredient to this recipe. It's the Pack 272. Now this is the most beautiful concealer brush that you can get. It is such a beauty. It blends and buffs like a dream, and it's just grab it, guys. Just grab it, okay? So I'm gonna take my concealer. I'm gonna take about half a pump of that. You don't need a lot with this concealer because the coverage is insane. Let's just say it can hide the mistakes of your past life and end it there. I'm going to pick up this concealer directly with my brush, and I'm just going to take a little bit once at a time, and I'm just going to start with my inner corners first. I'm going to place it right there. I'm not going on my lid as such because I will be priming them for eyeshadow later on, and then I'm going to apply the same concealer on my outer corners. This is a trick that I've learned from Robert Welch. He repopularized this trend. It was always there in place. He repopularized this trend where you just apply concealer on your inner and outer corners and it hides everything. So I'm just gonna be applying this concealer right here. I'm dabbing and moving in circular motions, but make sure that you don't end up moving your foundation a lot as well, because you want your foundation to stay in place. With the inner corner concealer, I do like to go slightly in as well, because whenever I'm priming my lids, I see like there's a clear demarcation right here. With the primer, as I can't do it so properly, but on the outer corner I keep it like a wing. So we're just going to be defining it like a wing, as you can see right here, and I'm just going to stipple this into place. So I'm just stippling, going back and forth with that motion. Now with whatever's left on my brush, I'm going to go on my under eye completely. I'm not picking any excess product, just whatever's there on my brush already. You want to make sure everything is nicely blended out and it's seamless with the foundation as well. So just go over your foundation a little bit. I'm going to repeat the same on the other eye. So I'm going to go in my inner corners, take it slightly in, ever so slightly, and then I'm going to dab it on my under eyes, and then on the outer corner just a little bit, and again just dab it in, extend it out in a wing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with my foundation brush, and I'm just going to ensure that there are no clear lines of demarcation. There aren't any, but this is just a way of foolproofing it. Also, you want to do it step by step because the MAC concealer sets pretty quickly, and once it's set, you guys. This just takes a couple of extra seconds in your routine, but it makes such a big difference. With the same concealer and the brush, we're going to be highlighting the centers of our face just to balance our face and bring some light to our face. You're going to take a little bit of concealer at time because again, this is really high coverage. And again, we're just going to be stippling all of that concealer into place. So we're going to be highlighting our chin, our cupid's bow, the bridge of the nose, and a little bit on the forehead, just to ensure that all of those look well balanced and really 3D and not as flat as it would just after a foundation. I've also been religiously doing concealer on my jaw right here. This just brings out your cheekbones a little bit more and makes your face look poppin'. So I'm just going to be applying this concealer here and blending it into nothingness almost. See, that half a pump went a really long way, didn't it? It is time to set our base into place so that nothing moves, and I'm going to be using the L'Oreal Matte Magique Compact. Now, I think that this has been discontinued, so I will leave a link for you guys where I'm talking about my favorite compact, so you can choose any from that. Now, I've been trying to finish this up because it will expire soon, but I love this product so much. I'm going to be using my Pack 301 brush. This is the brush that I've been using for my powder, highlighter, blush, everything. You're gonna see how I use this, and I have been loving using just one brush because it just means lesser brushes for me to wash and lesser brushes overall. So I'm gonna take a little bit of powder, make sure dust off the excess, and then I'm just gonna pat it into place on my under eye. Again, we are going in patting motions. We don't want to swipe like that. You don't want to do that because it will move the concealer, and there will be no point of you working so hard in making sure that your under eyes are nicely covered. So just pat it into place to lock all of that concealer in, and make sure you go around the corners of your nose as well, because that is the first place where your foundation moves from. I also like to set around my mouth as well as on my forehead because I tend to express a lot, and those are the areas that crease on me really quickly. Now if you are oily, again, please go ahead, set the rest of your face with powder as well. I'm really dry, so for me these are the only areas that I truly need to set without looking dry. Next up, we're going to move on to bronzing and contouring, and for that we're going to move on to the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette, or now known as KVD Vegan Beauty. Now this is what the palette looks like from the inside. It has some beautiful shades, but I will leave a link for you guys wherein I'm talking about my favorite bronzers and contours, so you can definitely check those out as well if you don't want to go for a palette, because it doesn't really make sense as you end up using just one shade, as you can see in my case. Now I'm going to be using that same brush. As I said, this is the Pack 301 brush, and what I like about this brush is that it's fluffy, but it has a pointy top, so you can go really detailed or you can really fluff it up and make sure you're powdering your face all over. So with the tip of this brush, just the tip of this brush, I'm going to pick up this bronzing powder from right here, and once I have enough powder on my brush, make sure you tap off the excess, and then I'm going to go on my cheekbones. I'm going in swirling motions like that with a very light hand, so I'm not pressing the brush against my skin. It's very far away, it's just touching, barely touching my skin. I'm going to go in swirling motions, and I'm going to bring it upwards like that just to lift my face a little bit more. I don't want an angular approach today. If you want a more angular structured face, just take it right here and bring it down like that, but I want a more youthful and fuller face today, so I'm bringing it up like this. I'm also going to blend it into my hairline so it looks like it's coming out from my hairline and not so stuck. So just blend it into your hairline and make sure that's nice and diffused. Right now we are bronzing, which makes your skin look like it's been sun-kissed and you've been out and enjoying your life as if corona didn't happen. But we're also going to be contouring using the same palette because I've been trying to use up the other shades as well and making sure I just extract all the worth of my money that I've spent on this palette. Using a little bit more of that powder just to hit my hairline, because that is another area that the sun tends to naturally hit and you tend to go bronzer there quicker than the rest of your face. It just makes the look more cohesive and it doesn't look like you have two stripes of bronzer going on. And then taking a little bit more and going on my jawline and hitting my jawline up with it. Moving on to the contouring bit, I'm going to be using the ashy brown color right here. Now bronzing is about adding warmth, while contouring is about adding shadow so that your face looks chiseled. So look at my face and this is what it looks like. Using the same brush, I'm going to pick up this product. I'm picking up a very little amount because these powders are supremely pigmented. Dusting off the excess, and I'm just going to hit the middle of my bronzed area. So I'm going to be going right there just to create a little bit of shadow and to add that definition into my face. So we're just going right there, and I'm ensuring that I'm going in circular as well as windshield wiper motions to make sure it's nicely blended out. Do you see the difference between this side and this side? It's the subtle differences in a makeup look that makes an overall makeup look so much more elevated. Again, gonna hit my jawline. This would add shadows and make your double chin look less double chinny, if you know what I mean. I don't need to do this on my forehead because I already have a smaller forehead, but if you have a larger forehead, you can obviously contour that as well. What I am going to do, however, is I'm going to pinch my brush like this. I'm going to pick up a little bit of that product and I'm going to go on the sides of my nose. Now, I'm not so huge on nose contouring. I've been trying my hand at it and seeing how I like it to be. So I just do very sloppy contouring almost. Like, I don't care too much about the definition over there. I just care about adding a little bit of the shadow, and once my color is well placed, I like to blend it out so that it looks non-existent almost. For my blush, I'm going to go into MAC's Melba. This is such a beautiful blush, everyday, gorgeous color. Has a bit of peach and coral undertone in there as well. I love it. So using that same brush, I'm going to pick it up from the side this time. So we have the color on this side, which is more fluffier and not as pointed because we want to cover a larger area with this. I'm going to just tap off the excess on the back of my hand, and then I'm just going to place it right here on the tops of my cheeks, and I'm going to push it back into the contour. Again, I'm just tapping this into place because I don't want to move the foundation from underneath, as I've not set it with powder. If you have set your foundation with powder, you have a little bit more freedom with how you use your brush movements, but if you're not setting the rest of your face, just tap everything in. I've been loving blush, you guys. I was never a blush girl, but now I can't do without blushes because I just feel like if you use them correctly, they just change the shape of your face. They just make you look so much more healthier and glowy and radiant. I've been loving it. And lastly, for our glow show, we have the Becca Champagne Pop. Again, something that I've been trying to finish off, and hopefully soon it will get finished. Just a little bit of highlighter left in there. I'm using the same brush. Yes, the same brush. And again, because it has a tip on top, it really helps. So I'm just going to pick up this highlighter from the tip of my brush, just the tip of my brush. I'm gonna put it on top of my blush, just on the top parts of my blush, just to make sure that the blush and the highlighter are nicely merged. And then I'm gonna hit it right under my brow bone like that. So we're going under the brow bone, and I'm gonna take it in a C shape, S shape almost. So I'm going like this and this and this. So I'm going to also round it off on my cheeks, because when you're looking in front, that cheek really shines and glows when the light hits it. So we're going in an S shape like this. Rounding off a highlighter really makes a big difference, because when you have just a stripe going on, it looks too obvious. Not that makeup looking obvious is a bad thing. If you've put in like 40-50 minutes in doing your makeup, then the world should know that you've worn makeup. But just rounding it off makes it look so much more gorgeous, and you glow even when you're looking straight, and you don't have to turn around for the world to see your highlight. So I love rounding off my highlight. And then I'm using a little bit of highlight on my cupid's bow, on the tip of my nose, on the bridge of my nose, and a little bit on the forehead. I'm just going to dust a little on the forehead, just like that. Earlier I used to put like here and here. Now I just dust off all over so that I have a glow going on everywhere. Coming to probably my favorite part is taking a quick little shower in a setting spray. I'm going to be using the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer Water. I really like this. I've been using the coconut variant, but the top of it is broken, and to spray it, it requires a special technique, and I don't want to get into that in this video, but their primer waters are really nice. Again, a link to my favorite products are going to be in the bottom bar, so you can go ahead and choose from that list. So I'm just going to take a quick little shower. What this does is not only does it set and extends the wear of your makeup, but it also ensures that there is no excess powder on your skin. So if there's anything that you've gone a little overboard with, this will pick it up and melt it into your skin. So you would look fresher for longer, and you would look more natural, if you know what I mean. So I'm just gonna go ahead and spritz, spritz, spritz away. Now at this point you have three options. You can either let it dry like that, or you can use a fan or your hands to dry it in like that, or you can use a sponge or brush just to dab onto your makeup so that everything that's more on your skin gets picked up by the sponge or the brush. I'm just going to fan it in and let it do its own magic. And with that, our base is done. As you can see, the spray took away the extra powders and meshed in everything that was there on the skin together, and it just looks so much more beautiful now. With that, we finished this base tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed this. This eye look will be up on my Instagram, so a link would be in the bottom bar for you guys. And I will see you guys next time. Till then, take care. Do let me know what other tutorials you guys would like to see, and I would love to do them for you guys. I love you all so much. Mwah. Bye.